Welcome back to another video. This time we're just doing a mock draft, just me and Max. I think it's our third mock draft, and this is the first one we've done since the actual draft
Third?
order. Yes, third. This third
Third
time
or
we did
fourth?
a third time we did a mock draft, and this is the first time we've done it since the draft order has actually been set. I think it's gonna be interesting. Interesting mock draft, interesting draft. We still have a lot of time between now and when the draft goes on. We still got pro days. We still got the combine, all that type of stuff. So stuff is obviously going to change around a lot. Honestly, in the last few weeks, players are getting mocked a lot differently than what it was a few weeks ago. I think a lot of that is because due to playoff play. The college football national championship was yesterday. I mean, 2 days ago, right? Yeah, 2 days ago. Michigan did come out with the win. I think me and Max both predicted that Michigan will win the game. And also Nick Saban. Nick Saban retired today, so I just want to give him his flowers.
Crazy.
Greatest college coach of, in college history. Outside of probably like Bear Bryant, if you want to have that argument, you want to. But I am an Alabama fan, so it was really shocking to see him go. It's actually really sad because I don't know who we're going to replace him with. I think early candidates are Dabo Sweeney, Mike Norvell,
Lane
Dan
Kiffin
Lanning.
has to be in there. Lane
Kiffin is probably going to be a candidate. I would love to have him because he's a great recruiter.
I was gonna say, if I could have anyone, I think Lane Kiffin would be the best. But like, it is like probably the worst time to leave Ole Miss. They had a great year last year, and they have a shot to make the 12 team this year. It would be a wild year for them to leave. But
it was honestly very surprising. It was very surprising. I wish he would have gave us like a hint or a heads up or something. I think our transfer portal class and I think our recruiting class might suffer a lot from losing Nick Saban. He was a great recruiter, and so I don't know how they're going to fill that void at all. Hopefully, he gave recruiter like his people he recruited some heads up so everybody just don't leave. I have no idea who they're going to replace him with, but I don't want Marcus Freeman for sure. Don't want him. I'll be good with Dan Lanning because I think he's a good recruiter. He's a really risky coach, and he's still a young coach. But I think he's a good coach, so I'd like to have him. Lane Kiffin will obviously be the most ideal hire. I think they might try to hire just promote an assistant, but I just don't hope we don't get a situation where they hire like
Franklin.
Franklin, like, come on, let's be serious. No way.
I just saw that name.
No way, bro.
That name in this. That was insane.
That would be I would be super angry. Like James Franklin, bro. No, he has not proved anything. He has not proved anything at Penn State at all.
It's on 3, I think. It's an on 3 report, but it's talking about all the recruits. Lane Kiffin isn't even up here. It says it's got Lanning, Caleb DeBoer from Washington, Dabo, Norvell, Freeman, and James Franklin. If I'm an Alabama fan and James Franklin gets hired, I am rioting. Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
Nah, he doesn't fit at all. He hasn't proved anything at Penn State. Nothing at all. I don't know why that would even be a consideration. But let's get to the mock draft. We are doing the top 10 picks only right now. The draft, as far as I think, I had to pick 18 is not finalized, and we still have to look at a lot of prospects. Still a lot of time. So right now, for the time being, we're going to just do the top 10 picks for time purposes as well. So I think over the last few mock drafts, Max to be getting the top pick or number 1 pick. So this time, I'm going to get the number 1 pick. And I'll get it started if you're ready, Max.
Okay, yeah, let's go.
All right, so with the first overall pick, the Bears are going to select Caleb Williams. We talked about this on the show. I think it still is a somewhat hard decision. I think it's still somewhat a good option to keep Justin Fields and then trade back and get maybe let's say they trade to 2, so they still can get MHJ and then get Jonathan Allen, the first round pick this year, and a second next year. If that's the package you're thinking, I think that's still a good option because Fields still has some upside. But I think Fields' time in Chicago has run its course. I honestly do. I'm not saying it's all on Fields. I think the Bears failed to properly develop him. But his fifth-year option is coming up. You're going to have to pay him soon, and I don't think he's shown enough to where it warrants, like I said, passing on a blue chip level, generational level prospect in Caleb Williams. And then I think even though you have Caleb Williams and you don't trade the pick, it's still it's like a still a viable way to build this team. They have a lot of cap space. They still have good draft assets. You can still build this team without trading the pick, even though it might be easier. But the ceiling is what you're trying to get right here in the grand scheme of things is Super Bowls. You are trying to get Super Bowls. And I think Caleb Williams gives you a better chance of winning a Super Bowl because you can build a great team. You can build an all-star team, but you need quarterback play to elevate you. That's what you need, and especially in the modern day in NFL, it's gonna be very rare occurrences like in the next few years where the quarterback winning the Super Bowl is not a elite guy or somebody that can elevate when you need them to. Like take for instance Brock Purdy this year. The 49ers are obviously the contenders. They're obviously the number one favorites right now to win a Super Bowl, right? But in the games they've lost, when it got down, he hasn't been able to elevate the team. He hasn't been able to elevate the team when players are injured. So certain quarterbacks take a perfect situation, and certain quarterbacks are able to elevate their situations. And I think Caleb Williams has a great chance of doing that on the Bears. Like I think, why does my Siri always do this? I think he gives you the best chance of winning a Super Bowl. I think as soon as next year with a great team around him, I think Justin Fields can get you to the playoffs. Maybe win you a playoff game. But like I said, you're trying to win Super Bowls. And the best thing you can have in this NFL, similar to what the 49ers have, is a quarterback on a rookie contract. And that's what Caleb Williams would be coming in next year, a quarterback on a rookie contract and with the higher ceiling than Justin Fields. Well, that's how I'm going with the number one pick, Caleb Williams.
All I gotta say is I hope it works out. That's it. Like, I really got nothing else to say right now. Like, I just hope that's it. So, but that makes number 2 easy. There's no debate. Washington, I think it's a big pick for them. This is like, what is this? This is the owner's new pick. Got to get a head coach. Like, this is like the start of the new Washington Commanders, the new Washington football team. So with the second overall pick, the Washington Commanders select Drake May. Again, really nothing to be said. Easily the second best quarterback in the draft. Might be the second best player in the draft. Going forward, obviously Marv is up there, but you need a quarterback more than anything. Most important position in all sports, so it's really a no-brainer. Not much to say.
You didn't say it at all. Like you didn't say.
I did. I literally just did.
I didn't hear that.
You can go back and do it, but I'll repeat it again because you didn't hear. When you go back and edit, you're gonna hear me say it. You just zoned out. With the second overall pick, the Washington Command. No. I said it earlier. I promise. But I'll say it for the third time. With the second overall pick, the Washington Commanders select Drake May.
Okay, obviously, yeah, Drake May is. I think he has a real chance to be the best quarterback in this class. I think he can make every single throw on the field. He has wheels. He's athletic. He's 6'4", 220, prototypical quarterback. I've been seeing people say he's like a mix of like Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. He's like a mix of those because, like I said, he is athletic. He can get it on the ground, and his creativity is out of this world. Like he makes plays in a lot of different ways. He has pristine arm talent. Drake May is my favorite quarterback in his draft. I watched every single game of him at UNC he ever played. Ever since he touched the field as a redshirt freshman 2 years ago, I watched Drake May. So this is probably the most knowledgeable quarterback I know in his draft class. I'm very sure that he's going to be a top 10 quarterback in this league one day. He is deserving of consideration as the number one pick for the Bears. I believe so. I think he has a really, really safe floor.
Situationally, there are obviously big issues about Washington. But having Eric Bieniemy, having a new GM who wants to spend money, it's a bad line, that's not great. But you do have Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin, and you also have Curtis Samuel. It's a decent wide receiver trio, especially walking into a new organization. CJ didn't get that last year. Richardson didn't get that last year. Bryce Young definitely, you know what I mean? Like, it's a decent wide receiver room to walk into. You have 2 experienced running backs. The O-line's the only big part, and the defense isn't great because they traded everyone. But I do think the Commanders could have a semi-quick turnaround if Drake May could take off. I think they have some pieces already built in. I don't know if Terry McLaurin's going to want to stick this out. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's going to be one to stick out a young quarterback for much longer. So there could be a chance he asks for a trade, but you do have Jahan Dotson there. So I know you're big on him, but
honestly, they do need to work on the offensive line. It's very pertinent. I don't think
it's rough.
Drake May's success is going to be a little bit hinged on that. At UNC, didn't have a great offensive line. He took a decent amount of sacks, even though he was able to extend plays. But I think his pocket presence can use some work for sure. I think his footwork can use some work for sure. So I need them to get off his line just for me to be comfortable. Any quarterback will need that.
Having Bieniemy helps, though. I think having Bieniemy, right? Bieniemy obviously had Mahomes all those years. Like, having that helps. And they get to put their own head coach in place. So they get to put their own head coach in place and, like, develop him with Drake May as well. So I've seen stuff about, like, is Bill rumored to go there? Or is that just everyone wanting to say Bill Belichick to wherever?
I haven't heard that at all. I haven't seen that.
I was going to say, because I think if this ownership group wants to make a big splash, obviously it's the biggest one you could probably make.
All right.
You're up with Bill Belichick's current team.
At number 3, it gets really, really tricky here. This is obviously a weird decision. I think this is worst case scenario for the Patriots. I think that the move for them should either be attempting to trade up or just praying that the Bears take Marvin Harrison or they just don't go quarterback because they desperately need quarterback. They desperately need it. Like, there's no way they can go into the next season with Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi at quarterback. Like, that would be terrible. They also need help on the offensive line. They also don't have receivers. Offensively, this team is terrible. It's one of the worst offenses in the NFL, if not the worst. Probably the Jets are worse. But so this is a really hard decision.
Wait. What?
The Jets are a worse offense.
Worse? You think they have a worse offense?
They were 32. They were 32nd in scoring, I believe.
I'm thinking piece by piece, the Jets blow them out of the water.
I mean, yes, but they also the 32nd worst offense in the league this year. So that's what I'm talking about this year.
But I'd say it's more quarterback play for I get what you're saying, but like I blame that more on like Zach Wilson and inefficient quarterback play because you have Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson who are better.
The running game wasn't good either. Though. The running game
wasn't
good
year though.
The offensive line wasn't good
either. Breece Hall was solid. Yeah, their offensive line is never good. But I'm just saying, like, having Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson, like, as cornerstones is huge.
Obviously going forward, but I'm talking about a single season thing. So, obviously, new receivers, Marvin Harrison Jr. is on the board, Malik Neighbors on the board, Joe Alder's on the board, Brock Bowers on the board. I think this is super high. I think this is super high to take Jaden Daniels, even though they need quarterback badly. So, unless they trade him back, which you're not doing in this mock draft right now, this is what I'm going to do. So, with the 3rd overall pick, the Patriots are going to select Joe Alt. That's what I'm going to do. I think he's a franchise-building tackle. I think he's that good. He was the best tackle in all of college football this year. I don't think it would be beneficial to draft Marvin Harrison without a quarterback. Obviously, you can get the receiver, but I'm trying to hope to get someone next year. But I think you can build around, not obviously tackle, but like offensive lineman, especially tackle, is one of the most important positions in all football, and getting that franchise cornerstone, which I think Joe Alt is. That's what I'm going to do with this pick. Obviously, I think they're going to do something different on draft night. But again, I think taking Jaden Daniels here is a mistake this early, so they could possibly trade back and get Jaden Daniels, their quarterback of the future. I think they should walk out of this draft with a tackle or a quarterback, honestly.
Yeah, I think you go Marv here. I get there's no one to throw him the ball, but Joel's protecting nobody, so it really doesn't matter. I think Marv's got more upside. He's the more generational prospect. I think Patriots never draft skill position players. I feel like if they're in like this high of a pit, they drafted N'Keal Harry and that didn't work out. But I mean, yeah, I think you go. I think you go with Marv. You go, and I think the Cardinals at home are hoping that they go with Joe Alt because if they can get Marv, it's amazing. So
I think bad QB play can hurt wide receiver development. One, that's one. 2, I believe that a franchise cornerstone level tackle is a lot harder to find than a great wide receiver for sure. Definitely harder to find.
Depends on the great you're talking about. Because I feel like
obviously Marvin Harrison potential is out of. What?
O-lines can fluctuate. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could be a great tackle, but if he doesn't have good guards around him or good, you know what I mean? Like, he looks a little worse, right? You know what I'm saying? Like you normally look at like overall units. You don't look at one guy in particular because you still got to block the other four. So like I do think that like if you can't get Marv, I don't know. I think it's a no-brainer, but I get where you're coming from. I made a joke about it to one of my friends, who's a Patriots fan, earlier on. Like they're gonna somehow when they hit like the second pick, like you guys are gonna go with tackle, and it looks like they could. But yeah, this is doomsday scenario if this happens because I don't think Patriots fans want to take a shot on the quarterback unless they have to. I think you trade down, but how far I don't know. So, but this makes it easy. With the 4th overall pick, the Arizona Cardinals select Marvin Harrison Jr. Pairing him up with Kyler Murray, one of the best, I'd say, up and coming pairings. Then going forward, you still have Marquise Brown on the other side. You got Trey McBride, James Conner still in the backfield. I think Marv will exceed in Arizona. I think Kyler Murray can finally break out to become a better quarterback. He's injured all last year, but when he came back, he still won football games. People, I feel like, all remembered that, okay, Kyler Murray is a great quarterback, good quarterback. Yeah, I think you have issues on the offensive line too. So I think if Marv does go 3, I think you're fine taking Joe Alt, or Olu, whoever. But I do think that picking receiver here is huge. You can make additions on the defense side of the ball in free agency. You can sign experienced linemen and figure it out there. But you get a big time player to compete with the secondaries in your division, right? You got to compete with Seattle's secondary and San Fran's, and so you kind of go get your guy.
Yeah, I think this is
No
ideal
brainer.
scenario for the ideal scenario for Cardinals. I think this is what will happen. I think the Cardinals are going to walk away with Marvin Harrison coming out of this draft unless the Bears take him. I just think that's how the fate of it is going to be. They need to get Kyler a weapon. Getting him a level of Marvin Harrison Jr. is a pairing that you could have for the next 10 seasons if Kyler is able to stay healthy. I think that's an elite pairing. And they obviously need tackle, but they can probably get that with their second pick because they have 2 picks in the first round here. I think they had the Texans pick, if I'm not mistaken. No, was it? Is it the Texans? I think it is the Texans.
Yeah, late. Yeah, Texans at 21. Or that's what it's projected at right now.
Yeah, so I think they can get a tackle at the back end of the draft and shore up the offensive line, and then start to rebuild this team around Kyler Murray. I think this is what's going to happen.
I think if
the Patriots probably trading down.
If Marv does go in that top 3, though, I think they are cool getting a tackle and then going receiver later. You know what I mean? They could get a receiver later. It's a deep receiver draft too. So like I think you could flip flop, but I think that for them you'd rather get the upside of Marv. So, all right, 5.
Okay. Yep. This is going to be a no-brainer for me as well. Not no-brainer. It was kind of a thought process because the Chargers at 5 need so much. Honestly, defense is terrible, which is really where I wanted to go here. But I think it'd be kind of a reach if I did draft anyone here. So with the 5th overall pick, the Chargers are going to select Brock Bowers. I think he's the best player available. And then you're going to give Justin Herbert one of those generational Travis Kelce type tight end prospects at 5. I think they'll probably be moving off either Keenan Allen or Mike Williams. They can't take both of them this offseason. So they're probably going to cut Mike Williams out, I want to say. So that gives them another target. Hopefully, Quentin Johnston can have the greatest comeback in NFL history after the worst rookie season I've ever seen from a wide receiver, probably. They still have him. Brock Bowers is there. So you want to give Justin Herbert a weapon. Obviously, I think the rest of the draft, you get to go offensive line or defense. Like there should be no other offensive picks, really, honestly. You got to rebuild this defense for the draft, whatever picks they have. Try to make some actual good draft selections. I think it's gonna be largely contingent on the head coach they bring in, but I think best player available here is the best option for the Chargers, considering that they need so much. They definitely need a tight end as well. So I'm gonna go Brock Bowers with the 5th overall pick.
Yeah, I think it's contingent on a couple of different things. To be honest, I could see Austin Eckler getting cut money wise. He had a bad year this year. They are so deep in cap. They could do other stuff with it. I don't mind Brock Bowers. They just have so many injuries. Drafting another receiver at that point in time isn't even bad. They just have so many injuries, but I think that obviously the fit at tight end's much better. So, I'm up with 6.
You are with 6.
Again, I think it's easy. With the 6th overall pick, the New York Giants select Malik Neighbors. I think you need some defensive help, some O-line help, but the biggest thing is fixing the quarterback position. There's no quarterbacks at draft right now. So I think you got to build it up by building weapons and trying to put a good team around him. They have not had a great receiver since Odell, and he left like 6, 7 years ago. So I really think they need to address that. They have to. If Saquon's on the block this year, I guess he's on the block. But Sterling Shepard, I know, is gone, and they have not had like 1,000-yard receiver, I think, in a little bit. So you need to give Daniel Jones a target, someone to throw to. LSU has become wide receiver U the past couple of years, so you're hoping that Malik turns out to be anything that Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson are. But I think you got to go receiver. You got to go weapon. If Brock Bowers falls, I think you could still draft him, do 2 tight end sets with Darren Waller and Brock Bowers. You need to help Daniel Jones and give him weapons. So,
Yeah, I think after next season they can get out of that Daniel Jones contract and try to maybe take a flyer on someone here in our third round this year, or try to draft someone next year. I think next year they got Quinn Ewers, who's probably going to be QB1 next year. Shedeur Sanders, obviously, who is I think is going to be great. And then after that, it's kind of like a drop off in my eyes personally.
but there will be people who like move up in the rankings though. Like let's not forget
I don't think they're good. I don't think they're good. I don't think they're good.
Maybe I'm tweaking, but Jaden Daniels was not a top 3 quarterback before the year started. Was he?
Oh, I mean, no, but
you know what I'm saying? Like there is potential for someone else to move the rankings. So the quarterback at Arizona,
I agree.
I know gets a lot of love, but I don't know if he's gonna be top 3. But yeah, I think Shedeur and Quinn are up there, but I'm not gonna put it out of the range of possibilities that someone rides up the rankings.
I agree. I just don't believe in people like Drew Allen and stuff like that being great quarterbacks. I don't believe in it. So I don't think the quarterback class is definitely not going to be as good as it is as far as the top 2 picks, or and then it's like even top 3 picks. I don't think it's going to be as good as it is next year. But so that's kind of a bummer that you couldn't. They won too many games. They won too many games. And I know NFL players want to win because they don't really care about draft position and stuff like that. But the front office does, and they won too many games. I know some Giants fans were very sad that they won too many games. So they played themselves out of serious QB contention unless they take Jaden Daniels. But I think behind this offensive line, Jaden Daniels will be a bust. As great as he is as a rusher, as good as his arm talent is, if he's skinny, I think he's a little bit fragile. If he's going to take too many hits, and I don't believe in his career if he goes to the Giants with his current offensive line. But obviously, Dable is a great quarterback developer. So potential there. But if they take Jaden Daniels, I wouldn't blink, honestly. Honestly, I have Jaden Daniels mocked pretty soon. I don't know if you do. But I'm gonna go.
It's weird because I think I had the same team, and I still think they could be in the market to trade for a quarterback. So I don't know if they're selecting it here, but
all right, we're at 7 though with the Tennessee Titans, and it was pretty easy for me. With the 7th overall pick, the Tennessee Titans select Rome Odunze. Will Levis is the quarterback of the future at this time, at least for next year, and you need a weapon. I think they're going to be going in a more offensive-minded position. Stance. They just had Mike Vrabel, and who they fired, I believe, yesterday or today. I can't remember. My days are getting mixed up. But he was pretty old school. Really focused on defense, running the ball a lot. They're letting it go Derrick Henry as well. So I think they're going to be in a new style of offense. They have DeAndre Hopkins. They have. I'm blaming on his name, bro. He just got drafted last season.
Treylon Burks.
Treylon Burks. They got Treylon Burks.
That was not last season. That was like 2 years ago.
Last year was his rookie year.
Huh?
Last year was his rookie year.
Last year was his rookie.
So
yes,
not this season.
In the league for 2 or 3 years. Yeah.
He's going into his third year. No, he's going into his third year. They got
yes, I think you're
Treylon
right.
Burks, DeAndre Hopkins, and they have they'll have Rome Odunze. I think you have to give Will Levis some weapons to see what you really have in them. And wide receiver is a big need right now. I think corner is also a big need as well. But I went Rome Odunze here. I think Rome Odunze is my second wide receiver. Honestly, I think he's better than Malik Neighbors, but it's close for sure. So I'll go Rome Odunze here.
Atlanta's in a funny position because they do kind of have a filled out team except for one position. Defense is solid. O-line is very solid. They have weapons. I guess you can maybe go select another receiver if you love Malik Neighbors or Rome Odunze and you can trade for a quarterback. But at this point in time, I have them selecting quarterback. So with the 8th overall pick, in the 2000 whatever. With the 8th overall pick, the Atlanta Falcons select Jaden Daniels. I think you put Jaden Daniels with a great O line. You have Bijan, you have Kyle Pitts, you have Drake London in a weak division, and a coach who you can develop with again. Like I think Arthur Smith was terrible. You can give him a new coach. I think this team, with the pieces in place, could be fighting for the division next year. I think you just need to put one competent quarterback in there, and I think with the other pieces around, I guess the defense, the O line, if it's played at the same level, but you could definitely compete for that division with how weak it is. So I think that Jaden Daniels is an easy pick. I think you have a very explosive, high-powered offense. You have Bijan, you have Jaden Daniels again. You have deep threats, so I'm excited to see that team. I'm more excited to see who they hire as a coach. So I'll be curious to see what that though.
I think what the Falcons should do is very contingent on what the Bears do with Justin Fields, because I think if the Bears don't stick with Justin Fields on draft night, you give them a call. So yeah, I'll give you a 3rd-round pick. You give me Justin Fields, and then with this pick, they can go edge. I think they should not go with a veteran quarterback though. They should go with somebody young that fits the timeline. They've been trying to do that too much. Desmond Ridder is obviously not the option, but I think it's contingent on what the Bears do. If the Bears don't stick with Justin Fields, give them a call, and give them a 3rd-round pick, and then take edge here. Go doubt. What's up?
Would you trade a second and Justin Fields for this pick?
What? Oh,
the
for
Bears
number 8,
give up a second and Justin Fields, and they get 8.
One spot.
No, we give up a 2nd-round pick and Justin Fields, and we get 8.
So 8 and 9.
No, yes. So the Bears have 8 and 9. Would you trade a 2nd-round pick and Justin Fields for 8?
Why would the Falcons do that?
Because they want.
He's not worth the 1st-round pick at all. He's not. He's worth about a 3rd.
But you get a 2nd also.
Sure.
You get a 2nd as well.
No, that would be terrible for the Falcons. I wouldn't do that at all.
I'm like, because I think if they love Fields, there's a way that the Bears could like do this without trading 9.
No, they're not doing that. No, that would be dumb. I'm moving the spot back. I'm moving the spot back. I'll probably consider it, but like giving them 8 and not getting 9 back, no way. Justin Fields' value is about a 3rd-round pick. He has 40 touchdowns, 30 interceptions in his career, a negative record, and he had to be paid pretty soon. So the leash on whether he's but he has like really 1 year to show you if he's worth it or not. So I'm not giving up a 1st-round pick for that. No, that would be dumb. Anyways.
You're up. Never mind. Dang.
At number 9, we were the Bears. It's just an interesting situation because you obviously need a wide receiver too. And this is a disaster situation right here for the Bears because Rome is off the board. Malik Neighbors is off the board. I think anybody else, as far as wide receiver here, is too high to pick at 9. Keon Coleman's draft stock us feel. What's his name? Xavier Worthy's draft for Spikesville. Ibuka's a 2nd-round pick.
Adonai Mitchell.
Second, right? Yeah, probably a 2nd-round pick. So here I'm going to go edge. I think that's their next concern. I think Dallas Turner is in the works. Jared Verse is in the works. Latu is in the works. That's my mindset here. So I really love Dallas Turner. I obviously watched him at Alabama, but I don't think he's the best corner. I don't think he's the best edge in the draft. So with the 9th overall pick, the Chicago Bears select Latu. That's what I'm going to go with at number 9. I think they would rather have a wide receiver too, but maybe they can get one in free agency. Maybe they can trade for one. They have a lot of ways they can manufacture this rebuild, or they take one in the 2nd round. So if they have a 2nd-round pick, do they? Yeah, they might. They might not. I don't know. I'm going to take Latu here though. I think he's the best edge in the draft.
I would love to get T. Higgins. I would probably go with Dallas Turner, but that's me. That's fine. But with 10, again, another easy pick. I don't think the Jets overthink it. I think they're looking at receivers. Someone drops, but their biggest need right now is O-line. So with the 10th overall pick, the New York Jets select – whoa, I just completely tweaked there. With the 10th overall pick, the New York Jets select Olu Fashanu. I said that right. But they're definitely selecting Olu. Olu or Joe Alt, whoever drops. I guess if they love someone else, cool. But I think you're definitely going with Olu. So, yeah. Again, if Rodgers is there, if he's not there, whoever's playing quarterback needs to get protected, and their O line gets injured and it's just not playing well. Mekhi Becton has these signs. He shows that he's great, and then injuries just always happen. So they need to get more depth at the O line position for sure.
That's a great pick. I think Aaron Rodgers definitely needs to be protected, especially at his old age. They obviously need a wide receiver too, but they can maybe get that in the second round, maybe they get that in free agency. Protecting Aaron Rodgers and his offensive line getting better is the top priority. I think Olu Fashanu was once regarded as the best tackle in the draft, but he slipped down boards a lot, and I just think a lot of teams, if he doesn't go, because I think the Commanders at first are going to, take him and stuff like that, but they're going to go quarterback now. So stuff has changed, and he's dropped down boards. So great pick though. That's going to do it for our mock draft right now. Obviously, going to do a lot more research, watch more film, and we're going to come with you with longer mocks, probably a full first round mock pretty soon here. We're getting off just in time for basketball to come on right now, NBA tonight. But if you made it this far, make sure you guys subscribe to the podcast, like the video, comment on the video, and subscribe to our social media. It's up at the top. We've been going pretty steadily. I want to continue to see growth. You're going to continue to put out content. And if you enjoy the content, make sure you give us a subscribe. All right, you guys. We'll see you soon.
Give you a subscription.